Yeah, we always are. But sometimes you got to have a conversation before the conversation.
I feel like we did, but I was getting lost thinking that we were already going. Yeah. Like I'm thinking, like in my head, I'm like, yeah. And then I look, I'm like, oh shit, we're not recording. And then I'm like, oh, it's because we haven't started recording.
We probably should just hit record as soon as we sit down.
Just as soon as we sit down, like headphones go on, or otherwise we spend like 30 minutes in here just talking to each other.
Yeah, we'll just keep talking.
That's content lost. All right, welcome to Digital Cortex. This is Steven. That's Random Styles. We're here to enlighten your day with our nonsense.
We're getting in your digital ears.
Getting your digital ears through to your digital brain and filling it with the digital stuff.
Soon to be digital brain, right?
Soon to be digital, yeah.
Do you think it'll be a good thing to increase your brain capacity? Because they have that thing.
I don't know if that's what does that do, though? If I increased brain capacity, like to what extent? Like, are we talking about, you say it like that and it makes me think storage. And I know your brain doesn't work off storage. So what am I increasing? Well,
you would increase your storage, right? Because you wouldn't have to try to remember everything. It would remember for you. So,
but is data, like, I get data. Like, I can understand the digital data and how that occupies storage space and whatnot. Like, it's got to be saved somewhere. How big is a file? But like, how does that work on your brain?
Well, it's like an assistant. It would be like a place like you would be able to go to check something. And you probably be able to have.
So you think that we only have so much available storage space for our brain?
Well, it's probably an evolution thing where, we save space so we can access important files. So
I get the metaphor, but I want to know what those actually is doing. Like, how does your brain know things like memories? And
it's not very good.
And like I know it's not good.
Yeah, because it's
fallible for sure.
They've done studies on like cases with juries and like asking them questions about scenes and stuff like that, and they get it wrong. Like, and they will remember in detail something wrong. So like the memory, the access part that you have for your memory, a lot of people remember the wrong thing.
There's a good what was that movie? And I think it was a play as well. It's called 12 Angry Men. Have you heard of it?
No.
Super old. But basically it's about 12 people who are on jury duty. And so they walk into to do a case about a murder that might have happened.
Okay.
And so they go in, everyone's like pretty much like, well, they pretty much have decided already that the man is guilty. And they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be quick. I mean, it's unanimous. We all think he's guilty, right? And then so they're all going around. They're like, okay, we just need to affirm it. So everyone would say aye. And one guy is like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I just think we're giving them a fair trial. Like, think about the lady. She testified saying that she was able to see what happened, right? Yeah. But you notice that she had. Like she pointed him out in court, but she had like those little marks on your nose.
Yeah.
It's like those little marks on your nose come from wearing glasses, but she wasn't wearing any glasses in court. So what if it was nighttime and she wasn't wearing her glasses then when she looked out her window?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, she probably doesn't want to wear glasses because she didn't want to wear glasses in court to, fashion, whatnot.
Yeah, some people don't like to.
But like, things, and then they were talking about the murder weapon and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so he was basically keeping them in there for so long to try to not just fall through with quick justice. And then it got everybody questioning it.
Yeah.
And part of it, being, what was we talking about?
Well, you were going into...
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore.
You were going into detail about memory, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that came up too, I think.
Why did you bring the story? I thought it had
I don't know. I don't know. He got away from me. I don't know.
I thought you were gonna connect this to how like nobody had a good memory or something.
No,
yeah.
I've heard also like argumental scenarios like that. Like this my friend's dad said this to me when I was young. It was about religion. Is like, you know, it came up of like someone was talking about different types of religions, and a friend's dad had said, well, you know, it's kind of like a car crash. What do you mean? Okay, well, there's a car crash, right? And 3 different people witnessed it. So the first witness says, oh, it was a silver truck, T-boned a red van. And the second witness says, well, no, the truck wasn't silver. It was a red truck and the van was silver. And someone else is like, that wasn't a van. It was a station wagon and it wasn't a truck. It was a Corvette.
Yeah.
But the point is there was a car crash.
Yeah.
So, but the same thing, you know, memory is fallible.
Yeah. So you're
is that the right word?
I
don't know what I'm doing now.
Probably. I don't want to look it up.
But, you know, it sounded right.
Yeah. So your memory is not that great. So you would instantly improve that part of your brain. This is what I'm saying. So like that's an inefficiency, right? Your memories are inefficient.
It's like, well, what's up with those people that have photogenic memories that can memorize like everything perfectly? Those
are interesting because they remember so many details. They remember what they ate for that day. They remember what was on TV, you know, like, but they're also not able to like, they're not super geniuses either. You know, like you would think, oh, if you remember everything, you would be a super genius. But, you know, like I
thought some of them were because they were just like real good at memorizing.
There's been a couple actors that were, had that ability. I can't think of the names on the top of my head, but you know, that would be awesome, right? For acting, you would be able to remember the whole script.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, so that would definitely be a superpower because you'd be able to just rattle off the whole monologue, you know, like nothing.
I always thought it was interesting too how easy it is to like try to remember something on script.
Yeah,
for me at least.
If you're, you know, if you have a pretty good memory and you're which, I mean, I have a decent memory. I can remember a lot of things, but I'm not perfect. But it gets squirrely when you have to deal in details. You know, can you remember what they were wearing, what color their shirt was, you know, like the little details. So like you would be able to definitely improve that part with some kind of computing. But no, where I was going with it in the beginning was that they have these like muscle tests where they can test your strength of your muscle. So like they'll have you like push something and then they'll have like sensors on your, you know, like say your bicep or something. And it'll say, okay, you have this much force. But they can also send an electrical current through your muscle to show what the maximum output would be. So there is a difference between like how hard you can push to how hard your muscle can actually produce or how much your muscle can produce. So there is like some inefficiency there where you don't actually use your full strength, you know, like even if you're trying, sometimes you need like that adrenaline rush or something like that, you know, like with like those stories of like those ladies that like pick up a car or something like to like get the car off their child or something. They just lift it up. They use like superhuman strength. So like, I think, if you increase the efficiency of like your strength, that would make you almost superhuman because you have the potential for more than you're actually able to do, or most people do. So if you apply that kind of idea to your brain, so now what kind of inefficiencies do you have in your brain? You know, are you actually using all part of your brain? Is there a way to stimulate like certain parts that you're not using that well and create even more of, you know, more strength? I don't know, you know, whatever.
I guess.
I don't know what's going to be possible, but
It's breaking my brain though.
Yeah, just staring off into space.
I'm not staring off into space. I'm processing.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're just like computing.
I am. Yeah. Like I don't know. Maybe it's easier just to compare it that way. But like before this type of technology, before like computers and other things, what do you think people compared their brain to? Like, you know, in the digital age, we can think of comparison of your brain as computing or your brain as processing or the, you know, all of that stuff. But was there anything like that before?
I don't know. I mean, we've went through different phases, right? Like we had like Socrates and like these great philosophers that would like push themselves to like think about logic. I guess
when did we as a race start trying to figure out how your brains work?
Well, I mean, if you want to go down like a rabbit hole, you can start like thinking way, way back, you know, like how did, you know, the pyramids get built, you know, kind of thing.
I mean, it's one thing to like know those kind of stuff and to figure out, oh yeah, you know, this is how I do that. Oh, cool. Yeah. How do you know that? Well, you know, so-and-so taught me and my grandfather taught my grandfather's grandfather and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You know, you get it. But
there was definitely an ancient technology that we don't know.
I don't know.
Because
like,
how were they
what
building?
Kind of ancient technology?
How were they building these massive? Because the pyramids are not the only in Egypt. Those are not the only structures. There's multiple ones they're finding around the world that are in China. They're in, you know, obviously with the temples that we are, the Aztec temples that we have in Mexico. You know, like they're finding more and more of these structures that are even older than Egypt, the pyramids, and similar where they have stone structures where stones are not available. So they're bringing these and they're putting them in these places where they want them. And they're able to survive for a very, very long time because they're still around.
Right.
So they were well built to last, you know, volcanoes and freaking earthquakes and hurricanes and whatever natural disaster. So they would it's definitely ancient technology that we don't know because we don't know how to build stuff like that now. I mean, we have an idea of how to build similar things, but not what they did. Like you seen that one where you can clap.
Yeah.
And then you can hear the sound go up and it sounds like a chirp.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy. How is that possible? How are there's a scientist that are working on, there's theories about that they were able to move these stones and stuff like that with sound. So certain vibrations, you can move things. And there are scientists that are working on using sound to project things or move things, levitate. Like everything has a vibration, certain frequencies. They already know sound affects you in certain ways. It can affect your mood. You know, you hear a good song, you can be upbeat, like it brings you out. You know, we're the only animals that use sound like that. Like, you know, you can hear a bird and a bird will sing, but it's only hearing part of what we hear. So they're not hearing everything. I watched this. There's a really good Netflix. I forgot what the heck. See, that's my memory, dude. I remember some of this cool stuff, but I don't remember everything. There's a Netflix documentary or it's a show where they talk about different subjects, and one of them was sound. And yeah, sounds really interesting. But yeah, I mean, we definitely, I think, knew a lot, and then something happened. There was a natural extinction level event that happened on Earth, whether it was like a comet or something that hit and just wiped humanity down to very few thousand left. And then we repopulated that way, and it took thousands of years and then we'll go back into because like, say that happened today, you know, say something cataclysmic happens where, you know,
catastrophic.
Yeah. It just hits the ocean, shoots fire into the sky like nuclear winter. The sky is just dark. Nothing grows. Everything's dying. People are dying. Would you know how to make a phone?
Damn.
No. If you survived, you wouldn't know how to make anything, and you would just have stories. So you would have kids. You would probably try to, have your kids, and you would be like, we used to have this technology where we could watch things on screens, and there was the thing called the internet, and you would describe these things, and then they would grow up, and then they would tell their kids about these stories. We come from a civilization where we had these enormous things, So like you go down the generations, and then it just kind of it becomes legend.
Why are the computers and the internet gone?
Exactly. Well, it just becomes kind of legend. Like, my great-great-grandpa used to talk about this, and I don't know.
I guess you're kind of right. Like, are we going to...
And then eventually it would be gone. Like you wouldn't... in a few generations, nobody would remember all the cool things that we used to have, and you would just find things, randomly maybe, and you would not know what it is, and you wouldn't know how to use it, and it would be decomposing, and then eventually most of it would be gone, because we wouldn't know how to make it. You don't know how to make a car, so we wouldn't have fucking cars, we're riding horses or something.
I know how to make a car.
No, you don't.
You just need a motor.
No.
You can make a motor, and then you just need a way to connect that motor to... I can make a basic car. I can make
you can make a car with the parts you find and stuff like that. But I'm saying, eventually it would get down to the point where somebody's gonna have to
I guess you're right,
steel.
Because if for some reason we didn't have the machines that we use to make machines.
Yeah. You wouldn't.
I'm talking like drills and lathes.
Maybe the guy from General Motors, you find him and he's like, I know how to do it. Unless he has kids and teaches his kids how to do it, that shit's going to die off.
I mean, the concept seems simple enough, but you're right. Where am I getting these? If I had to start from raw materials, no, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, you don't know how to mine iron out of the fucking ground.
No. You're right.
Copper. You need to make some more copper wires. Good luck.
Damn. Yeah.
You need to.
I mean, it's so easy today. You're right to start. I mean, even if I wanted to create a crucible and start making and molding metals, I know the basic idea of how to do it, but I wouldn't know where to get that stuff to make the stuff I need to. I just go on Amazon and buy them,
Exactly. How are you going to make a screwdriver?
Because I would be like, oh yeah, I can make a screwdriver. I just need my Dremel to draw. Oh wait. Well, now I need to make a Dremel.
Oh wait, I need electricity. How am I going to get electricity?
Where'd the electricity go? Why is it gone?
Well, I mean, shit's going to be fucked up. So you're probably not going to just be living in a house.
What happened? I want to know what happened to cause this.
If it's a volcano erupts and it's the fucking mega fucking eruption where, it's shooting magma into the, air, and it's flying into cities, and you have this volcanic ash that just covers a whole continent.
Now my question is, how did I survive?
Exactly. It's going to be the first thing you're going to have to do is try because all animals and plant life are going to die. So they ain't going to be around. So what are you going to be eating? So it's going to be very, very difficult for a while to survive. And it's only going to be the hardest of the hardies.
I don't think I'm going to survive.
I wouldn't. I'd probably be dead.
Yeah, I'd be dead too.
I'd probably be standing under the volcano ready for that shit to fall on me.
Sunglasses on and all.
Yeah, get a lawn chair and just wait for it.
Just wait for it. You have beer in your
slowly
hand.
Moving toward me.
Touching your toes like, birds. Fucking birds.
It's cold. It's cold.
Just sitting there like, pour some beer on it.
Imagine it's cold. It's going to be so hot.
My God, at what point do you be like, yeah, this is a fucking stupid idea, and just walk away from it?
Well, you seen when that volcano erupted in Hawaii?
Yeah.
It fucking churn this car into a ball of fire. But when it started catching on fire, it wasn't even touching it yet. It was like still coming toward the car. It was far enough where it wasn't even touching it, but it was still burning it. So just the heat radiating out of off the magma. I mean, I don't even know how hot that is, but yeah, the tires were on fire, before it even touched the car. Yeah, I don't know. That would be super, super hot. But
it's insane.
Yeah, so whoever lives is going to be probably living underground. And they think at one point we did live underground in like an underground society, because they're finding like caves and caverns of like deep. They go deep, deep down underground. Like we used to live underground for a period of, who knows, 100 years, 200 years. Maybe there was centuries we lived down there because of the fucking scorched earth,
Damn.
So, yeah, I mean, they know for sure that we've had impacts from meteors and stuff like that have hit. We have the one in Arizona, the big, huge site. Have you ever went to it? What the fuck is it called? It's got a name. But
is it the Grand Canyon?
Grand Canyon is crazy. We talked about that though. It still blows in my mind.
I was watching this kind of almost apocalyptic looking show recently.
It's the Meteor Crater National Landmark. I guess that's just the name. I thought it had like a cool name.
Guess not.
Meteor Crater.
The Meteor Crater?
It's about 37 miles or 60 kilometers.
37 miles long?
No. East of Flagstaff.
Oh.
Yeah. No, this is not the dimensions. Let me see the dimensions of it. So it's close to Flagstaff. It's the diameter is 0.73 miles or 1.1 kilometers.
Damn. How deep is it?
The depth is 560 feet.
Damn.
It's like building, right? Being on top of a building or something.
That's taller than me for sure.
The impact diameter is 160 feet. I don't know what that means. Impact diameter. But so yeah, it's huge.
That's the size of whatever created it.
Yeah. So
wait, where's this meteor that created this? Is it there?
I think it just like fucking exploded the pieces. I think they have some of the pieces of the crater. It's owned by a family, present day. You can go visit this anytime.
It's just open to the public?
Yeah, it's a national landmark. Came to attention the scientists, settlers. So they found in the 19th century the crater was. Oh, so they have a piece of the crater. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we know about all these impacts that have happened to Earth, so it's fucked us up before. So, I mean, everyone or all scientists believe it's going to happen again, or some kind of event is due, but they don't know when.
Are we safer here because it's already happened once, or are we more likely to have?
I think it's been a long time since it's happened. So that's not a good, because the longer you go on any timeline, if there's percentages of calculations, the longer you go, the higher the chance of it.
But of all the places a mile long impact could happen, how likely is it that it happens to impact us?
In Arizona?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it less likely because we've already had an impact?
No, I don't think
it works. Or is it more
like
likely because we've already had an impact?
That's all fucking fake.
Or is it just random? Like it doesn't really matter.
I mean, you have a spinning Earth spinning in the galaxy.
It's spinning and it's moving.
Yes. So it's doing both.
And it has a moon.
Yeah, which we already know has been fucked up. So yes. The thing about the moon is it has no atmosphere. So when shit hits it, but it's so weird because they can see the impacts, but the impacts are so shallow. So I don't know. There's a lot of weird things. That's why you have that weird, stupid movie on Netflix about the moon. Was it Moonfall or whatever? where there's a theory that the moon is fake and it's actually like a big ass fucking structure that was put there. So there is theories that people think that the moon is was made by somebody, some kind of entity that put it there to control or
right. Well, actually, there's a weird coincidence too with that. You know, like, right, look at the sun. The size of the sun,
yeah,
is the same size as the moon to us viewing, right?
Because of the how far away it is from us to the, and
yes,
it needed to be placed exactly where it is to cover the sun,
right,
in our vision, which is weird.
The only reason it can is because it's placed so precisely,
yeah,
a specific distance away from us that the moon then appears to be eclipse. The same size as the sun.
Yeah, eclipses the sun.
So they look like they're the same size object, but it's only because of the placement difference.
Yeah.
This is they have never found that same coincidence in any other planet with a moon.
There's a lot of mathematical anomalies, I guess, or coincidences that some people would call, that just are amazing. That's why they call it the Goldilocks or whatever. Like the Goldilocks planets that they're looking for, where it's the perfect scenario.
Right.
They're perfectly far enough from their sun that life could exist, because there's actual calculation of what a planet would need to actually sustain life or make it available to live. But I don't know, do we really know everything about life? We know,
no,
we don't even know about everything on this planet, that lives. So, I mean, how would we know everything that can live on any other planet? I don't know. There could be different scenarios, different,
talk
creatures.
About like how much of the ocean we still haven't discovered either.
Well, that's another thing too. There's fish and there's these organisms that can survive in like deep down underwater where there's no sunlight.
Reminds me of that movie that I saw. I saw the end of this movie. I was at a friend's house. I think it was called The Silent or something like that. Basically, like these guys were exploring this cave, and there was this pocket of this cave that has been closed off from our atmosphere or something, and these bats that live in the cave have had to evolve and adjust to the harsh environment inside this little cutoff cave part.
Yeah. And
so they end up accidentally letting these things out of the cave, and they just destroy humanity.
Start killing everybody.
Yeah. Anytime you make a sound, they come to it. Like, they have super hearing.
Ooh.
So you can't talk, can't make any noise. They're super strong. Just the epitome of like, oh wow, that's hard to kill.
This is like that movie with what's his face? The guy from The Office. Yeah, something similar, but a little bit different. My friends were watching it. Yeah.
I want to see the whole thing because I don't think I ever saw it, but it seemed a little interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is, we keep finding more and more life that we didn't think could exist in certain scenarios. And like, fuck, we got like fucking octopus that can like change color and like adapt to any landscape and make it look like they just blend in.
Right.
These are crazy little creatures, dude. They're just snatching things in the ocean.
I remember seeing that one in Finding Dory.
Right? That was the whole, and it, you see it in a cartoon and you're like, oh yeah, that's funny. He became the pole. No, like they can actually become a piece of coral. They do that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how they just morph and they're just like, now they are that thing. And like, how are they doing that?
Fucking weird ass chameleon science. Same way, like you can get like an actual chameleon and it just blends in with its environment. Or those fucking butterflies or different moths that have wings that appear like dead leaves and shit. It's just weird.
How about the illuminating algae? Have you seen that washes up on the ocean?
Yeah, when I lived in San Francisco, I used to see them. We used to go to the beach. And,
it's a certain type of algae that is fluorescent.
Bioluminescent. Bioluminescent.
Yes, which is crazy. How is that generating light? So we don't know. That's a whole nother, because you think about life on this planet, you think about even like photosynthesis and like how a plant is able to use sunlight as a food source. Like, how is that possible? Like, that sounds like some crazy sci-fi shit that you just made up.
I know. I was messing with Crystal the other day. She was planting her little plants and repotting them. So she's like taking the plants out, massaging with water their roots to break them up and then put them into another pot.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting there and we were high. I was like, hey, do you think those plants are like screaming every time you touch their roots? She's like, oh my God, why would you say that? It's like, I don't know. I had a root canal once. I know that's painful. Yeah. That's a root. And your plant's roots, are they sensitive?
Yeah. Are you touching his knees right now? Are you playing with his toes?
Does he find it ticklish?
He's like, hee.
Is it painful? Like, is it screaming and we just can't hear it?
They're definitely alive. Plants are alive. Like, if you have enough plants, like, there's an energy about them. You can touch them.
We have a shit ton of plants, bro.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking one time because he's like, people like to talk about plants like they're inferior because, they don't have a heart. Like a tree doesn't have a heart. But a tree is able to live and not have a heart and still, take water from the ground, pump it up to the top of, think about how tall some of these great oak trees and stuff like that are super, it gets a lot of its water from the ground and goes up, again, without a heart. So he's like, this is life. People look at it and doesn't have a heart, but he's like, it's living in spite of not having a heart.
I was also reading too how fucked up it is that like when we cut down trees and shit, there's efforts to like, oh, well, you could just replant trees. But the problem is that when they end up replanting trees, it's different than a natural like forest. Like you replant a forest from nothing.
Yeah.
And all the trees grow at the same time and whatnot. But in a normal forest, you've got many different trees, many different shapes and sizes and different ages. So even some like that are dead and fallen over, you have pathways that are, naturally occurring.
Well, yeah, and
that kind of stuff shapes the environment around it and the type of creatures and birds and the ecosystem that it has. You have trees that have that are tall because they're so old, and so they have large canopies, and then you have middle canopies for middle-sized trees and smaller canopies, and all these different animals and stuff will utilize that forest differently than, say, a forest that we just went and planted. Yeah, it's kind of noble to do it, but we're still destroying the ecosystem.
It's better than not doing it, for sure. I mean, if you're going to cut the trees down, put some more there. But it is going to be fucked up for a while, like you're saying.
Yeah, and it takes decades and decades and decades to get that back to the way it was.
Yeah,
and sometimes not even ever be hundreds of years.
Those fallen trees decompose, and then that decomposes into the roots of the other trees, and so it's a whole cycle.
And then the different animals and bugs and things that need to survive in the forest.
Yeah, is it mushrooms? But do mushrooms eat
different mushrooms and mosses and
tree or something
and other vegetation? If you look at those forests that were man-made and replanted ones, they don't have the same type of bush type of vegetation on the ground that natural occurring forests have.
Well, I mean, that's why I was saying about going down a rabbit hole, because all these things, nature is like a supercomputer.
Dude, there's no way for us to survive on this planet without fucking it up.
Nature has its own cycles. It's its own supercomputer. It has built-in things. for it to do. There's ways for it to get food, to regenerate, to live on. Like, you know, the seeds of fruit that you eat gets processed through your body, and then you deposit it somewhere, you know, and that seed now has fertilizer, which will now could grow. So you're actually replanting the plant for the plant.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's but see, that's an interesting thing too. Look at avocados.
Yeah.
So avocados used to be bigger.
Yeah.
But
they already have a huge seed.
They already have a huge pit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, is that there was animals, like prehistoric dinosaur-based animals, that could eat the avocado whole from the tree.
Yeah.
And, you know, using the nature, that pit goes through them, comes out, fertilizes, and a whole new avocado tree grows.
Yeah. And that big pile of shit.
That type of animal died out.
Yeah.
Long ass fucking time ago. So why do we still have avocados is because early humans found out how to cultivate them and grow them themselves.
Yeah.
Because they wanted them to. And so avocados are like, they're a fruit. That's weird, right? They're a fucking fruit. You would think they're a vegetable, but no, they're a fruit. And what's interesting about it is it's like the opposite of other fruits that we have today, because it's a prehistoric fruit. It's full of fats instead of sugars.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely different from all the other fruits. You know, it's different from a tomato. A tomato is more acidic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like...
And it's because this is like a prehistoric item that's just been cultivated throughout humanity since its natural cultivation method died out. And we've been keeping it alive ever since. Isn't that crazy? Is that fucking insane?
I love it, dude. To me, this, like, nature is another technology.
And I think it takes like 13 years or something crazy like that to actually have a avocado, like to have something be produced from that pit. If you start, you know, trying to grow something from it,
it'll take a while for sure.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
A lot, but that's with a lot of like fruit trees. If you plant a, you know, lemon tree or something, you ain't gonna get no lemons right away.
Yeah, but not 13 years.
It's gonna be a while, but it's not. Yeah, that 13 years is a long time. So
can you imagine that's your fucking business is to sell avocado trees or some shit? And it's like, oh yeah, 13 years, I'm gonna be selling this shit. After that first 13 years is done, you work so hard. Now you just, you know, you've been planting every year. You just start living off of money.
That
green avocado money.
It's why nurseries will charge you a lot for big trees. You know, that shit's been growing for years.
Yeah.
So we're gonna charge you an arm and a leg,
dude. When you drove up the through Central California to Northern California, Central California is all like farms and shit.
Yeah.
So many fucking avocados, and there'll be people like you'll see signs. Like a dozen avocados for like $5.
That's awesome.
So fucking great.
And you get it right from the source.
They're fucking huge.
Yeah.
They're fucking huge.
Yeah, they
so good. Love avocado. But it's so funny how like quickly that fucking shit gets sold. You have an avocado, you turn around and it's already...
These store-bought avocados are so different though. Because like I have family in LA and stuff like that. And we had... we went to someone's house and they had an avocado tree in the backyard and that shit was just falling on the ground and the avocados were different. I mean, obviously there's different types of avocados and stuff like that, but I don't know. It was just like the skin was different. The outer layer was different. Like the tasted a little different. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if it's just the type of plant that they use that's better for like store avocados, you know, it has a thicker skin.
I think the main ones for the store are Haas avocados.
Yeah.
But I know that there's different ones. So yeah, it's possibly a different type.
Because this one had a thin skin, which probably wouldn't be ideal for like, you know, stores and stuff like that, because it'd probably be easier to bruise, easier to you know, get damaged or overripe or something like that. So they stick to the thick, you know, outer layers of those avocados.
Avocados are so great. You remember when like they were saying that millennials aren't going to be able to afford a house because they keep spending all their money on avocado toast?
No, but that definitely sounds like an article trying to get clicks.
Yeah, they were saying that, like, because they're spending money on avocado toast, like lots of money. Like if you've been to a menu and see avocado toast is like anywhere from like $7 to $15.
They charge you a fucking. I'm like, it's an avocado, motherfuckers. It's an
avocado spread out
on some bread.
And if you get fancy with it, it might have some tomatoes or something else. Nothing that should cost fucking upwards of $10 for.
Yeah.
Like crazy. But hey, fucking tastes good as fuck, bro.
You know what I like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it? When in the pandemic, we would be ordering fucking breakfast all the time and shit. And I went through a period where I was getting that bagel at Einstein with the salmon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ooh, the capers.
They call it the lox or something.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, because that's what that's called when you have salmon on a bagel. It's like
and cream cheese.
What do they call it? Lox and I don't know.
And tomato.
I'll look it up. But my favorite one from there was actually the farmhouse one.
What's that one?
They used a hash brown bagel.
Okay.
And it was cream cheese, but it was like pepper cream cheese.
Oh.
The pepper spread.
The
eggs.
Pepper jack?
Bacon. I think there was a hash brown in it. No. Just like pepper.
Oh, in the cheese?
In the cream cheese.
Oh, in the cream cheese.
In the cream cheese.
On top of a hash brown bagel. This is not something I've tried before.
It's my favorite, bro.
And I don't think I've ever heard of this, dude.
When we were on keto, we would get the Chompies.
So this was okay on keto?
So Chompies would make bagels, right?
Yeah.
They would make keto friendly bagels. So
they do?
We would, they make keto friendly bagels and keto friendly bread.
So what is it based in cauliflower or what?
Oh, it's just like the fat, and I don't know, but it's not. It's a different type of bread. Like you eat it, it doesn't have. It's like sugarless bread. It's weird.
Is that it? They just took the sugar out.
Yeah, it's like whole wheat bread because the fiber is because you count net carbs on keto. Yeah. So you take your carb count and you minus sugar alcohols because they don't affect the carbs. And you get rid of fiber because your body will process that.
You could drink all the fucking alcohol. I thought those were like empty calories because you fucking drinking vodka,
Yeah, you can do that on keto. Well, I mean, we did dirty keto. So there's people that dirty. So there's people that will take like the micro, what do they call it? But they will weigh out everything. Like they'll be like, oh, I'm only going to have this much sugar or this
many grams.
Yeah. So they're counting all of those little tiny things, like all the different things that are in there.
Yeah.
We did keto. Like, all right, we stay under 30 carbs a day.
This is more like a rogue keto.
Yeah. So the Chompy stuff, I think it was like a carb or two per bagel or whatnot.
Okay.
We put the cream cheese and...
How much is cream cheese? How many carbs is that?
It's got like one or nothing. Okay. Cheese usually doesn't have carbs. It's like one to nothing.
Everything has carbs.
No.
What the fuck is a carb, dude? I don't even know.
Carbohydrates, man.
Yeah, you just said the scientific name that doesn't help me. No, I'm just saying, like, people talk about carbs all the time. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. And then I hear some scientists are like, everything has carbs. Do you know that everything has carbs?
Yeah, but some of it has a different amount of carbs. Like, you look at like a banana has about like 30 carbs in it.
Yeah.
For one banana. And a lot of carbs come from sugar. But you could take if you look at the nutrient label of anything, it'll say like let's see this here.
How many carbs in that fucking candy bar?
Oh, it's gonna be a lot.
Oh, shit.
This total count of carbs is 28 grams.
Is that a lot?
But then they tell you what these carbs are full of. So 24 grams of that 28 is sugar.
Okay, that's a lot.
And then 2
from peanuts.
2 of them is dietary fiber.
Okay.
Total sugars 24. And that's 21 grams of added sugars. It doesn't really break it up too well in this candy bar. But you would take dietary fibers can go through you. Fiber goes through you. So your body's not going to absorb it into your blood sugar. So you can minus the 2 grams from your total carbs. So now we're down to like 26 carbs on this.
Okay.
And the chocolate's going to have its own carbs.
But what would your goal be for a day? The sugar was
24. Total, after eating everything, you want to be like under 30.
So that... I almost used all of my
totally
one candy. Mm-hmm. Dude, that sucks, dude. So
you remember how much weight I lost on that?
What would I do for the last 2? What would you do if you were in that predicament and you were trying to? What would you go to?
I would know. I wouldn't even eat that.
I know, but let's just say you're like you fucked up and you're like, God damn it, I shouldn't have ate that. But so you're like trying to salvage the rest of the day. What would you do?
Just stop eating.
You could eat meat. Right? Because meat doesn't have...
You just eat whatever is just like 0 carbs.
Right? So you can eat a piece of steak. Mm-hmm. You just can't have nothing with it. But the
problem with that is when you do it like this and you like, oh yeah, well, I can eat the 1 candy bar and then eat no other carbs for the rest of the day. Well, that doesn't help because you're spiking your blood sugar with that mass amount of sugars all at once.
Yeah, it's probably not good.
No.
If you did that
unless you fast it out,
Yeah.
But
you could, I guess, if you're not going to fucking... eat until later.
But yeah, we would do big on sandwiches, like keto bread. Like Costco sells a keto bread that's like 1 gram per slice.
Yeah.
And it's pretty decent. It's just those type of breads, like you taste it. They taste different. They're very gluteny.
Yeah, because you make like crazy pizzas and stuff like that. You would tell me about some of the stuff you were making.
Yeah, we used to make a pizza out of almond flour.
Yeah.
And that would be cut pretty good. And then I would find a specific, I think it was like Hunt's tomato sauce or something like that with like basil in it or something.
Oh.
And that only had like a couple grams per serving. I think the whole can was like 4 or 6 spread around a pizza. You split that between 2 people, you're pretty good. Your pizza's going to come out to like at the end of the day, maybe like 12 or 11 grams for the meal, which is pretty okay.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
You can get through
really
that.
Depends on your toppings.
Yeah. Because
that's what we would do. We'd make sandwiches. We live off like sandwiches we'd make. We'd make other dishes. Like she makes a fucking amazing zuppa Toscana.
Okay.
The Olive Garden thing.
Yeah.
But instead of potatoes, we swap it out for cauliflower.
Okay.
And instead of like milk, I think it's just still like heavy cream. Has like 0 carbs. Milk has carbs. You can't drink milk.
I feel like when you talk about this diet or whatever, like you would say, I would never eat that whole candy bar. I think the reason it works so well is because you just cut out like a lot of sugar.
That was one of so if you look at all of these different diets, the like keto,
and I think that's the key, right?
Atkins, paleo diets, like they all work.
Yeah.
But the one thing that they have in common is they're cut in sugars, they're cutting carbs.
Yes.
So really it's just a low carb diet at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I think that's I was listening to this cardiologist and he was talking about how he thinks the majority of the heart conditions are caused by sugar and tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2 main culprits for heart disease. And you think about when you just talked about it right now of all the foods that you were cutting out and to lower the sugar counts.
And they've made it so much easier now. Like there's so many products out there that you can find that are keto based.
Yeah. I mean, you can get those like keto brownies and shit.
My hardest time, like being keto, like the thing that really
got you.
Like one of the reasons I don't think I can go back anytime soon.
This is the reason you can't
look.
Do it.
It's hard because keto, you're very restrictive and you're always looking at a fucking label and you're always counting it. You go to a restaurant, you're Googling what they normally have. Like you figure out what you can eat and where you can't go.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, if I go there, I'm only eating salad. And Crystal's the kind of person that was like, well, I might cheat a little or I can eat this. And it's like, no, you can't. You can't. Like I taught you how to read a fucking label. Read the goddamn label.
Well, that's the key too. To any program is consistency.
Yes.
You can't break for anything.
But once we stopped, you stop, it's hard to
get back into it.
Yeah, because then you realize like I mean, the first couple of times, like you eat something else, it's like, oh my God, that's what that tastes like. I haven't had bread in 2 years.
Holy shit.
Bread is great.
We should be telling people about this.
Do you know about bread? It's delicious.
You're like running through the town. Bread is delicious.
Try bread.
Add a loaf to your dinner.
Put it on your
Come here, little
list.
Timmy. You throw him a slice.
But keto did have some other benefits too. Like when I was on keto, it was so easy to fast. You skip a whole meal, like you skip a whole day, 2 days worth of eating, and your body is fine with it because your body has gotten used to not relying on carbs and sugars for energy. Yeah. It starts relying on your own fats and proteins.
Yes.
And it'll start tearing away at you. Yeah. And that's what it did for me.
And did you feel like it gave you more energy too?
Yes, you have a different energy. And the reason is like, because when you burn sugar, it's a fast burning fuel. Like think of it as burning like, I don't know what kind of other fuel burns fast. Gasoline burns fast, right?
Yeah, super fast.
Okay, super fast. It's burning, it's gone.
Yeah.
So when you're burning your body's fat instead, because the whole point of keto is your body gets in like some weird starvation mode. It goes into panic. It's like, oh my God, we have no carbs. What do we do? Okay, well, we know what to do. We go to survival mode. Yeah. Let's eat at our reserves, which are your fat deposits in your body.
Yeah.
So your body starts eating off of your fat deposits. And once it's finished with that, it's going to start eating your muscle. So that's why you have to also have like a high protein. So keto is like, mid fats, high protein, I think, and low carbs.
Yeah.
Or it's high fats, mid protein. Anyway, whatever it is, proteins and fats are good. And your body will start using those for fuel. What the thing is with fats, they're slow burning energy. So the same amount of fat will take longer to burn out. Like you can use it longer. So think of like, I don't know, burning wood compared to gasoline.
Yeah.
Wood's going to last longer. So you're going to be able to use that energy for much longer than you would if you had gasoline just burning.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it too, is if you think about what our ancestors had to do in a more primitive lifestyle, they wouldn't just be eating all day. They would go long periods of time because they had to fucking hunt.
Yeah,
they had to go.
Your food had to come from somewhere. You had to figure it out.
So you're just constantly walking around
and you're working
exercising.
For your food. We don't have that privilege nowadays.
Yeah, we're walking around exercising, trying to find shit to eat. So we might go hours, days without eating because we can't find.
That's why
anything.
The world is going to end up like WALL-E. Like they were spot on for that shit.
WALL-E, with the fucking chairs that are just carrying people around. I mean,
and the computers taking care of us every fucking way.
It's definitely life is definitely gonna be changing with all the advancements of computers and stuff like that. But I think we've shown to adapt well. And then I mean, it'll definitely keep people alive. That's for sure, and longer because we're gonna be able to figure out how to kill shit that's been killing us, or stop it from killing us, or whatever the scenario is. But like, bring people, they're trying to grow limbs right now on humans. They're doing all these tests on, because we have lizards and stuff that can regrow an arm, a leg, a tail, so there's different animals that already can regenerate. So they're trying to figure out how they're doing that and how we could possibly regrow an arm, So they're going to figure shit out like that.
And you have like billionaire people who are spending money to preserve their body after death for like
the cryogenics and all that shit. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. Are they going to be able to like reanimate?
I was either reading something about it or listening to somebody talk about it, but it was a good point on that was like these people who were the first people to get cryogenically frozen.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the first people to wake up. They're not going to, when humanity gets to a position where we figure out how to perfect that technology and they start testing it, they're going to test it on the most recent because they're going to want fresher bodies.
They're just going to throw them.
Because by the time, like, we're just going to figure out how to keep a normal person alive in cryogenics. But we're talking about like a dead person. And by the time we figure out how to reanimate that, like that's not going to happen. You're spending that money like, and you're going to,
it's weird.
You're not going to be the one to get brought back, buddy. Your body's going to be unable to be brought back.
They're hoping that the technology will advance so far that
it's not going to.
But they're going to be like, why did they freeze them like this? That was so stupid. Like 100, 200 years later.
Exactly.
They're going to be like, they should have did this. Like,
oh, yeah, we know the mistakes we made trying to figure out how to freeze them.
Yeah, don't they know they have
now we know that the process is to be done like this. So all of the people who were frozen before we figured out how to properly freeze people, like that's they know that's a waste.
They got to dip them in, I don't know, fucking
vegetable
hydrogen
oil first.
They got to dip them in hydrogen to salvage the cells or whatever. Like who knows what the fuck you have to do to preserve a body. Like, and I mean, is it you? If they reanimate the body, is the mind still the same? Like, is it still going to be your same personality? Like, probably not, right? I mean, don't some people come out of a coma and they're a whole different person?
Yeah.
So like, what?
Like I've heard people come out of comas and they have like accents now, or they speak complete different languages.
So what's to say if they are able to bring you back that you even are the person you were? Like you're just gonna be something else. You're not gonna be yourself. Maybe
we are in a fucking Matrix simulation. That's why some people come back with a different language. They're in a coma. They're like blue screened. They got to reboot. But then when they rebooted,
like,
accidentally changed it from English to Russian, and now you speak Russian.
Yeah, Russian accent. Oh, shit. Wait, I don't know if they work.
Oh, well. Too late.
All right, they'll figure it out. It was a software glitch, like they were supposed to go back to the default and they went to something else. Who knows, man? Who the fuck knows? I don't know, man. It's all...
The Matrix knows.
It's all the fucking... I mean, would you know if you were in a simulation?
Dude.
No.
I probably would not. You're right. I wouldn't know. But I want to feel like I would be able to notice it.
If you knew you were, though, would you want to get out? Or would you just stay?
It depends. Like I saw this comic strip and it was this guy... He had one of those like silica gel packets, like you get in your shoes or some shit.
And the bag or your luggage bag or something.
Yeah, that little baggie of little thing. And it says, do not eat.
Yeah.
And so that guy, he was like,
he ate it.
Fuck you, world. You're going to tell me what I can't eat. And so he eats it in this little comic strip. And when he does that, the next panel is like him waking up and there's like some shit around his head and there's like a couple doctors next to him and they're like, congratulations, you figured out how to get out of the simulation.
Yeah, like they would be they would probably be punching you in the fucking face, dude. Why did you do that? It says do not eat. Oh, we got another one. There's probably just,
Well, I mean, that's to say that the simulation that I'm in is like a bad one. Like, there's something wrong with the world and we're being used as batteries, like the whole Matrix thing. But what if the simulation I'm in is only because like I put on a fucking VR helmet and I forgot about it. And I've been stuck in the VR world. And this is me living in a VR world. And when I come out, I don't even look like this. Like I might look like a totally different thing because this is just a character.
That was just your...
I'm just a character.
You just did random default.
Exactly. And maybe this game has shaped us like this, but in reality, we've got like fucking 8 fingers on every hand or some shit.
8 fingers on each hand?
And we're not even like skin toned like this.
How many hands do you have?
2.
Okay.
Because that would be weird to create a game where you have like...
What if you had more,
less hands than,
what if you had
than
more
you
arms?
would?
What if you had like 4 arms?
Shit. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is 4. Maybe
you would be able to grab a lot of stuff.
I bet we look more like animals.
Well, that's another theory too. There's a theory out there that we have non-humans that live among us that are actually like avatars for like an alien on another planet. So like it was created to look like us, but it's actually from like another creature.
So it's like the Avatar movie where they created the avatars to live among.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's a whole nother. And we have some people like that. They're actually living among us. So that's why you have all this fucking crazy shit going down. But who knows, man? Who the fuck knows? What are we at, man?
1 hour and 7 seconds.
Oh, there we go, man.
That's it.
Okay. I declare.
Goblin. Hear ye. Digital Cortex is now over. This has been brought to you by Monsanto Corporation. So this was Digital Cortex.
Wait, why Monsanto, dude?
I don't know. In the 50s radio fucking things, that's the kind of fucking shit they would have said, right?
You think Monsanto is huge?
Monsanto's... that sounds like something, right? I'm just drawing that shit out of my high brain, bro.
From General Mills.
Yeah. In partnership with Tonka Toys.
Yeah.
Digital Cortex coming Wednesday nights to your ears.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Cut that, stick it on the ad. All right. So this has been Digital Cortex. My name's Steven. That's Random Styles. Hope you had a wonderful time. I sure did. Goodbye.
Later. You said